Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to talk to you about how to not overspend during the holidays, which is a problem that almost everyone has. Money is hard to earn and easy to lose. Guard yours with care. Between all of the work events, social engagements, and upcoming holidays, it's easy to spend more than you anticipated without a clear-cut plan of action. This leads to financial stress and strain on you once the season is over and you have to pay the money back. To ensure that you don't spend outside of your limits and still have a great holiday season, here are the 3 things you can do to avoid overspending. First, set an overall budget. Ask yourself, how much can you reasonably afford to spend in this holiday season? Instead of thinking, what is the absolute maximum amount you can spend, say, how much can you afford to spend without stretching yourself too thin? The problem with the holidays is that people spend way more than they can reasonably afford and then are stuck in debt for months, maybe even years, after the season has ended. The holidays aren't about showing your love or gratitude for someone by putting yourself in a tough financial situation. So take a look at your current finances. Figure out the approximate cost of your monthly expenses and bills, and then determine how much money you want to save. Remember, it's recommended that you save 10% or more of your income. Then you can attribute whatever is left over to gifts, plus whatever you saved specifically for gifts previously. Once you've set your overall budget, the next thing you want to do is to set budgets for each individual person or even occasion on your list. Obviously, there will be people who you spend more on, such as your kids, parents, or significant other. Once you've set a budget for those closest to you, then determine how much that you can spend on everyone else. Remember, the holidays aren't just about giving and receiving gifts, so don't feel obligated to get one for every single person you know. Just because you work with Joe or Cindy doesn't mean that you have to get them a gift for the holidays. If you do feel obligated to get gifts for your coworkers, suggest doing some sort of gift exchange to your employer or give them homemade presents. It's the thought that counts. Finally, to ensure you do not overspend this holiday season, keep track of your spending. None of this budgeting will do you any good if you don't actually keep track of what you're spending to make sure that you're staying within your budget. It's easy to become impulsive during this time of the year and feel tempted to spend more than you budgeted for if you think you have found the perfect gift. The key is to not get caught up in that trap and to only purchase items that fit into your budget no matter what. Keep all of your receipts and enter them into a spreadsheet or mobile app with all of your set budgets to stay on top of your spending. However you choose to do it, just make sure that you always know exactly how much you've spent per person and overall so that you don't go over your budget. Great leaders know how to think effectively, make good decisions, and take purposeful action by developing good habits. Download my free report on the power of habit and learn how today. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is, what can you do to not overspend during the holidays? Think it through in advance and then follow your plan. Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about how to not overspend during the holidays, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and I want to teach you a method of time management that many people have said has changed their lives forever. So get ready, take notes, and be ready to take action afterwards. One of the most valuable time management skills you can develop is the habit of organizing your tasks by priority. I refer to this process as eat that frog. Many of you are familiar with this phrase, but for those of you who are not, the eat that frog concept means practicing the habit of tackling your biggest, most important task first. This task, or frog, is the one that you are most likely to procrastinate on. It's also the task that can have the greatest positive impact on your life and results at the moment. It comes from a story by Mark Twain, by the way, where he said if the first thing you do each morning is to eat a live frog, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that's probably the worst thing that's going to happen to you all day long. And your frog is your biggest, ugliest task. So we say, do the worst first. Now, the best way to organize your life is to use what we call the ABCDE method. The ABCDE method is a powerful priority setting technique that you can use every single day. Here's how it works. You start off by making a list of everything you have to do for the coming day. Preferably make your list the night before, or at least the morning before you start work. Never start work without a list. Think on paper. You then go down your list and you place an A, B, C, D, or E before each item on your list before you begin the first task. An A item is defined as something that is very important. This is something that you must do. It has serious consequences if you do it or you don't do it. This is a task that if you don't do it or fail to do it, like visiting a key customer or finishing a report for your boss that she needs for an upcoming board meeting, then it's going to be serious. People are going to be all over you. These are the frogs of your life. These are the things you've got to eat first. A B item is defined as a task that you should do, but it only has mild consequences if you do it or not, like returning a phone call, going for lunch with a coworker, even checking your email. These are not major tasks. These are the tadpoles of your work life. This means that someone may be unhappy or inconvenienced if you don't do a B task, but it's nowhere as important as an A task. Returning an unimportant telephone message or reviewing your email, as I said, would be a B task. The rule is that you should never do a B task when there's an A task left undone. You should never be distracted by a tadpole when there's a big frog sitting there waiting to be eaten. Now, a C task is defined as something that would be nice to do, but for which there are no consequences at all, whether you do it or not. C tasks include phoning a friend, having coffee or lunch with a coworker, or completing some personal business during work hours. This sort of activity has no effect at all in your work life, and you know something? Most people spend 50% of their time in C tasks that have no relevance to their work at all, and then they wonder why they're not getting ahead. A D task is defined as something that you can delegate to someone else. The rule is that you should delegate everything that anyone else can do so that you can free up more time for the A tasks that only you can do. An E task is defined as something that you can eliminate altogether, and it won't make any real difference. This may be a task that was important at one time, but which is no longer important to yourself or anyone else. Often it's something that you continue to do out of habit or because you enjoy it, but every minute that you spend on an E task is time taken away from a task or activity that can make a real difference in your life. The key to making this ABCDE method work for you is to practice discipline and start immediately on your A task and then stay with it until it's complete. If you have several A tasks, list them A1, A2, A3, and start on your A1 first. Use your willpower and your mental strength to get going and keep going on this one job, the most important single task you could possibly be doing. Eat the whole frog and don't stop until it's finished completely. This alone can double your productivity the very first day you begin using this system.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and if you're an introvert, I'd like to give you some networking tips. By and large, when it comes to business and career advancement, We're living in an extrovert's world. This is especially true when you are looking at the more social aspects of success in the business world, such as networking, which can sometimes be a challenge for people who are not comfortable with big crowds and large amounts of interactions with strangers. With all of that said, there are still plenty of traits common to introverts that help set them up for success as well, and with the right preparation, an introvert will have no problem excelling even at the social aspects of business, such as networking. If you're an introvert looking for a way to make valuable connections with the same ease as your extrovert associates, here are a few tips you can use to take your networking to the next level. First, prepare ahead of time. Most introverts are naturally good at planning and preparation, and this plays to their advantage when it comes to networking. Spend a little time ironing out the finer details, such as how you will open conversations, what your goals for those conversations are, and what questions you intend to ask, as well as a little time mentally preparing yourself for the event and getting in the right frame of mind. Most of the time, advanced preparation such as this will go a long way to making sure that you're on top of your social game when the time comes. Second, find a buddy to go with you. Sticking close to a buddy that you are comfortable with is a great way to ease your nerves a little, especially if they are an extrovert and you can rely on them to fill gaps in the conversation. Feed off their energy. Bounce your own remarks off of theirs and retreat back and talk with them one-on-one when you need to. You'll likely find that this is much more comfortable and natural for you than going it alone. Third, smile. Your smile is one of the most useful social tools you have at your disposal. It can be used to disarm people and put them at ease in a matter of seconds, giving them a positive impression of you before you ever say a word. Introverts are often guilty of not making use of their smile and eye contact as much as extroverts. However, with a little focus, a warm, friendly smile is a trait that is incredibly easy to adopt. Fourth, set goals. Before you ever arrive at a networking event, you should set goals for who you want to meet and what you hope to accomplish through those interactions. If you keep those goals at the front of your mind and treat networking as a task necessary to accomplish those goals, it will strengthen your resolve and help you push past any shyness that may otherwise hold you back. Fifth, think of yourself as being welcome wherever you go. Remember that everyone at a networking event is there for the same reason that you are, and it's likely that many of them are uncomfortable and nervous as well. With that in mind, think of how incredibly grateful they will be if you are the one that walks up to them and starts the conversation. Introverts have a tendency to think that others will view them negatively if they are overly social. However, nothing is further from the truth, especially at a networking event. Sixth, stay in the moment. Once you manage to strike up a conversation with someone, it's important to be present in that conversation rather than strategizing about the next person you plan to approach. Keep your focus in the moment and on the conversation at hand. Ask the person questions and truly listen to what they have to say. If you stay focused on one conversation at a time, the person you are talking with will likely notice and appreciate your attentiveness and interest. And seventh, pick the right event. Some events are going to be more comfortable for introverts than others. For example, if you're an introvert, you'll likely find striking up conversations at a lot easier at a small, relaxed event than you would at a booze-filled, extravagant one with 500 plus people in attendance. While you should certainly go to every event that you can and practice getting better at networking at events that are outside your comfort zone, it's also important to focus on those events where you'll have the greatest chance of being at your best and use those events to your advantage. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. If a person advances confidently in the direction of their dreams, they will experience a success unknown in common times. That's from Henry Thoreau. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is this: does networking come easily for you, or do you struggle with it? Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable and teaching you about networking for introverts. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.
Ask for the job you want. Ask for the salary you want. Ask for the responsibilities you want.
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most helpful concepts of time and life management. It's called the 80-20 rule. Now, the 80-20 rule is also called the Pareto principle, named after its founder, the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, in 1895. He noticed that people in society seemed to divide naturally into what he called the vital few, or the top 20% in terms of money, property, and influence, and the trivial many, or the bottom 80%. Later he discovered that virtually all economic activity was subject to this same principle, in that 80% of the wealth of Italy during that time was controlled by 20% of the population. We can take Pareto's 80-20 rule and apply it to almost any situation. In particular, we can apply it to goal setting and productivity. According to this principle, 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. That means if you have a list of 10 items to accomplish, 2 of those items will turn out to be worth more than the other 8 items put together. The sad fact is that most people procrastinate on the top 10 or 20% of items that are the most valuable and important, the vital few that account for all your success, and instead they busy themselves with the least important 80%, the trivial many that contribute very little or nothing to their success. So here's what you should do in order to effectively apply the 80-20 rule to goal setting and to your overall productivity. First, take a piece of paper and write down 10 goals. Then ask yourself, if you could only accomplish one of the goals on that list today, within 24 hours, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on your life? I ask this question of my clients all over the world. What is your most important goal in life right now, which you need to know, by the way, if you want to be successful? Then pick the second most important goal. What you'll find is that after you complete this exercise, you will have determined the most important 20% of your goals that will help you more than anything else you do. Second, you should work at those goals that you have chosen all the time. You often see people who appear to be busy all day long, but seem to accomplish very little. This is almost always because they're busy working on tasks that are of low value or no value, while they are procrastinating on the 1 or 2 activities that can make a real difference to their companies and to their careers. The most valuable tasks you can do each day are often the hardest and most complex, but the payoff and rewards for completing them can be tremendous. They can actually change your whole future. Before you begin work, always ask yourself, is this task in the top 20% of my activities, or is it in the bottom 80%? The rule for this is simple. Resist the temptation to clear up small things first. That's the greatest killer. We become so involved in little things, and little things multiply. They just become more and more, and at the end of the day, you're exhausted and you've accomplished nothing. If you choose to start your day working on low-value tasks, you'll soon develop the habit of always starting and working on low-value tasks. You'll be like the horse that pulls the wheel around in a circle all day, never makes any progress. Finally, I want to tell you about a study that's just been done about the attitudes of rich people versus poor people with regard to goal setting. What they found is that 85% of rich people have one big goal that they work on all the time. Only 3% of poor people have a big goal, and they don't work on it very much. So if you want to be wealthy, do what wealthy people do. Pick one big goal and work on it all the time. And if you do, it will change your life. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. It is this: when your goals are clear, you will come up with exactly the right answer to achieve your goals at exactly the right time. So those are my strategies for applying the 80-20 rule to goal setting. If you haven't seen my other videos about goal setting and increasing your productivity, take a look. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is, do you use the 80-20 rule for goal setting and time management? And if you do, what changes have you noticed in your life? Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. To learn more about goal setting, download my 14-step goal setting guide by clicking the link on the screen or in the description below to help you get on track with your goals.